to make a video on 5 things that I absolutely love about driving a 6-speed manual Hellcat because they are a ton of fun. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you don't know, this is Rigo's car actually. It's a 2016 Dodge Challenger Hellcat. It is a 6-speed manual, so it's got the man trans with the 3rd pedal. And yes, I know how to drive a manual. I taught myself when I was 16, and I've had mostly manual cars actually, besides the Jeep, the trucks I've owned, and my Hellcat that I have. But if you don't know, if you haven't been subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. But I am helping Rigo out with some mods to his Hellcat. It already currently makes about 830 wheel horsepower, and he's going to be switching to a full E85 package, adding the lower pulley for some more boost, and then switching over to Tim Barth for the tuning aspect of the car. So it should make well north of 900. So I'm actually running out some of the pump gas. It's got a lot of 91 octane still left in it. I'm obviously going to drain some out of the fuel lines once I get back to the house and once I start working on it, but it's got like half a tank in it, so I'm actually driving it around. So I thought I would make a video on 5 things that I absolutely love about driving a 6-speed manual Hellcat because they are a ton of fun. So first thing I love about all manual cars, but especially this one, is the ability to downshift in traffic, which we're in right now because people can't drive. Yeah, idiot. So the ability just to downshift. Now the autos, obviously when the auto feels you getting on the throttle, it's pretty quick to downshift, which is obviously the benefit of it, but it's nice to be able to just grab a gear and downshift, whether you're in traffic, you need to speed up to pass someone, or actually the best thing is when the roads are icy or there's loose gravel, you can just downshift instead of using the brakes, and it's a lot safer to slow down that way instead of just using the brakes. But I love being able to downshift in traffic if I just need to pass someone. Now, yes, the Hellcats do have paddle shifters, but there's a thing about just like grabbing a gear and dropping it down versus like tapping the pedal. I don't know. I like it a lot better this way. I didn't ever downshift in my auto Hellcat. I don't ever do it unless someone wants to roll race and I need to pick the correct gear. But just to go to pass someone, I never just downshift with the paddle shifter. I just kind of floor it, let it shift on its own, let it downshift on its own, and then go. Whereas the 6-speed manual, it's really nice to just grab a gear, drop a gear, and then you can easily pass someone in traffic with these shitty Texas drivers that we have. My second thing is that the Hellcats, the manual 6-speed, they have a 370 gear in the rear diff, whereas the auto has a 262. So the manual Hellcats actually already make more power. I'll give you a good comparison. Rigo's made 830 on the same dyno that mine actually made very close to 800. Mine actually made 787, so Rigo's actually made a lot more than mine. However, mine was on a hotter day, but a really good relative comparison it made about 30 more wheel horsepower than the average auto Hellcat with the same mods on a dyno jet here. So with the 370 gear, it really helps the car make more power, and the only downfall of that is on the highway when you're in 6th gear going about 70, you're already at like 2,000, 2,200 RPM. So for highway, obviously the auto is a little bit better because it's got 8 gears, where the 6-speed doesn't do so well above like 75 to 85 cruising. I mean, it cruises at 80, 85 real easily. It's just at a higher RPM versus the auto. It's got 8 gears, so it can be in a higher, or it can be in like, I think it was usually like in 7th or 8th gear. So it's just cruising, and you just don't get the drone from the exhaust, which is really nice. My third thing about driving the 6-speed manual Hellcat, a little dip here in the road, is actually the fact of driving a manual car. So there's just something about driving a manual car. It gives it more of that race car feel, even though typically cars are faster with autos, obviously, but it gives it more of that race car feel. You're more in touch with the car. You know, when you're having to use hand-eye coordination with the third pedal and with grabbing a gear, there's something about just driving it that you feel more in touch with the car, and it's just such a greater feeling. Like, yeah, driving the auto around town just gets boring. I mean, obviously it sucks in traffic when you've got a manual. You know, obviously you can't be on your phone YouTubing as much when you're driving, but you shouldn't be, not like me. But there's something about being more in tune with the car. I feel like when you're driving around, you are more aware of what's going on because you're having to shift, you're having to be in the right gear for the mile per hour that you're doing. You're more in tune with the car driving around town. So that's the third thing that I really like about driving this 6-speed manual. The fourth thing that I really like about driving this car with the manual is I'm always choosing the gear I'm in. So if I kind of want to maybe not lug it around, but drive a little bit slower, a little bit quieter, I can be in a little bit higher gear and the car's not as loud. But if I kind of want to be loud and, like, you know, be douchey, but be loud, like going through a parking lot, you know, where there's a car meet or something. I know this sounds douchey, but you do it when you have a manual. Everyone does it. But, you know, you kind of ride around like first gear. You kind of rev it a little, where as an auto, you can't really rev it going through a parking lot or going through an intersection, or you see a racer and you want to rev at them. Whereas the manual, you get to choose what gear you're in. So if you want to kind of lug it around, you can lug it around. Or if you want to be in like first or second gear and kind of ride it a little bit and, you know, do some little backfires at car meets or rolling through a car show, or you see someone that's kind of flexing at you, you want to flex on them, you know, you can ride in like first or second gear, get a couple backfires and rev it a little. Whereas an auto, you don't get to be as douchey. You're kind of just the guy cruising around with your automatic, feeling like a Prius in the parking lot, which was me. All right, my fifth and final favorite thing, that was really hard to say, of this car with the manual is the freaking backfires this thing does. Just see if you can hear. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't really able to get on the car because it is tuned on methanol currently, which we're going to take it off of that. But it's got a really bad methanol leak, and you don't want to be going wide open throttle when you're tuned with methanol and you don't have any. So wasn't able to really get on the car to show you guys, but I'm going to put a clip at the end because I did forget one thing. The launch control on this thing sounds so cool. I made a video of Rigo a long time ago, and he just laid on the launch control, and it's super funny. I'll put the clip at the end. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this little video. I thought I would just make the 5 things that I like about a manual Hellcat. I mean, it's really with any manual car, the features are kind of the same that you love about driving a manual. I think they're so much fun. Obviously the autos are faster, but the manuals are a lot more fun to drive. So if you guys like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see the build that we're doing on Rigo's car. And if you want to keep up with that, Rigo's channel, I'll link it down below actually, since it's actually his car, if you want to follow along on what he's got going on with his car. But it's going to be at the house for about a week or two, so we got a couple of build videos coming on it. But let me know what you guys think of the video. Let me know what you prefer, manual or auto, or what you actually drive, and we'll see you guys on the next one.